Shocking sacking. Workers at Melia laid off today. ZNS News with the latest.
Stem Cell Symposium. The country gets ready to move into the next phase of medicine.
The legal year. We'll tell you what he had to say coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
The nation's leader tonight not pleased with the unemployment levels in the Bahamas, but he's working to fix that in this country. Good evening, everyone. I'm Candino Knowles.
And I'm Charisma Robinson. In fact, while in China, the Prime Minister told our news team that it was the main focus of seeking out new investment and airlift opportunities.
It is not good for a country like the Bahamas, the closest offshore country, United States of America, to have significant unemployment. That does not make any sense to me at all. We are on the way to do something meaningful about it, and we're hoping, therefore, that this week has been a great week in the history of our country.
In other news, layoffs at the Melia Resort overnight now creating the latest round of controversy between the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union and the resort as the ongoing dispute with the property over its 15% gratuity escalate. Clint Watson has been following this Melia melee.
It's been an uphill battle for the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union as they seek to get outstanding gratuities from Melia Resort while struggling to come to an agreement on the new rate for gratuities. But the game changed Tuesday night.
After last night, we would have gotten a report that some 8 persons would have been terminated who management determining as would not have completed their probationary period. So they have terminated those persons because they would have seen some of them, they would have seen them on the varying newscasts and indicated that their services is no longer needed.
General Secretary of the Hotel Union, Darren Wood, says once again the hotel is not acting in good faith, nor in their view are they abiding by the industrial agreement.
Well, first and foremost, management is now creating new terms and conditions for employees being hired down at the Melia Resort because our industrial agreement is clear. It spells out what the probationary period is for new employees in the varying categories of workers and of work. So we have a difficulty with it. When we reached out to management initially, when we heard that persons were going to be terminated, their indication was that they knew nothing of it.
Wood says this latest issue is separate and apart from the ongoing gratuity issue, which still remains outstanding. But no doubt he feels there's still a connection at the end of the day.
The dispute that we would have filed at the Department of Labor was filed on management changing policies relating to the distribution of gratuities. So while a person may be saying, oh, they're fighting and they're talking about the 15%, it's more than that. The 15% may be the nucleus of the problem, but they are now spin-off problems.
And with regard to the issues of gratuities, Woods reiterates that the industrial agreement specifies how the benefits should be distributed.
There has to be an agreement. The management team down there at the hotel is hell-bent on doing whatever they want to do as it relates to these employees. The senior vice president for external affairs made it abundantly clear. If we don't agree, they won't pay. And he said it. If we don't agree. And the thing about it is they want us to agree to 8% versus 15%. But they're saying to us the 8% can be equivalent to the 15% because that is what they offer everywhere there is a Melia property around the world. Well, we say you have to compare apples with apples.
In a statement from Bahamar, it outlines that the company has a clear probation period for all new employees to ensure that all workers meet performance standards. As far as accusations of retaliation against employees, the company says those claims are not true. The company representatives say a large number of employees participated in 2 illegal strike actions back in December, and despite this being a significant breach of their terms and conditions of employment, Melia chose to treat this with the utmost understanding and sensitivity, and no employees suffered any consequences for their participation. Melia is calling on the union leadership to stop with what they term rhetoric and grandstanding and resolve the situation as soon as possible so that the all-inclusive gratuities to employees may be distributed.
Now the union says her actions will only intensify from here. They have filed a strike vote with the government. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Well, we now know what will happen to the Wyndham property on Cable Beach.
Yes, principal owner of Bahamar Sarkis Merlion revealed to ZNS News in China that the property, which is now being used as a training hotel, will become a part of the Bahamar brand of hotels, as a major Bahamian Riviera project will seek to expand once it opens its March.
Well, it's going to be redeveloped after we open Bahamar, and we're looking for feedback from our customers once we open as to what they're looking for. My personal preference would be to partner with one of the large Chinese conglomerates to bring in more Chinese tourists to the Bahamas. And Jinjiang is a great example of a company that has great brands that are well known in China at different levels, from 5 stars to 2 stars. And for them to be able to invest in the Wyndham, as well as bring tourists, or Hainan Airways bring direct flights to the Bahamas, that's a win-win for the country and for Bahamar.
The Free National Movement today stepped up its protest against the management of affairs at the Bank of the Bahamas. Opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis led a demonstration over what he called the alleged mismanagement of affairs at the bank and the recent $100 million bailout by the PLP government. Flanked by FNM members of Parliament and supporters, the group marched from the post office on East Hill Street to the Bank of the Bahamas on Shirley Street. In a statement from the steps of the House, Dr. Minnis charged that government has failed to protect the people's money by its handling of the crisis at the Bank of the Bahamas. He maintained that the public's confidence will not be restored by allowing the present leadership to plan or repair the damage, which he said they must take responsibility for at the Bank of the Bahamas. Progressive Liberal Party National Chairman Bradley Roberts on the attack again, this time taking Dr. Hubert Minnis to task over the recent comments he made regarding Bank of the Bahamas. Roberts, during a press conference at the Progressive Liberal Party headquarters this afternoon, called the demonstration by Minnis and the Free National Movement outside of the Bank of the Bahamas reckless, irresponsible, and harmful to the reputation of the bank. Roberts said it was a board that the FNM appointed that led to the $100 million of bad loans being approved, and not the current board.
Since Minnis and the FNM do not have an alternative plan to rescue the Bank of the Bahamas, after playing a significant role in creating the current fiscal mess of driving the bank in the ditch as he described it, he must now act responsibly and get behind the rescue plan of the government to save this public financial institution. The bank, the Bahamian people, and the country are better served if Dr. Minnis gets out of the way and let the people who actually have a plan execute their plan without the nuisance of his constant distraction and public antics to seek headlines or to sound relevant.
Roberts said he was not aware of any junior staff of the bank being let go, but he admits some senior managers were. Of the $100 million debt, Roberts said some of that has already been addressed.
10 million of the 100 million, they've already sold that off or in the process of finalizing the sale to a new entity. So that means they will recover $10 million. And so the balance that will be left to address is $90 million.
A legal bombshell today. Coming up, find out what will change the makeup of the courts.
And what that impacts, or how that impacts social services. Coming up, find out what it means for you. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.